Best days to book flights. Airlines release seats on different days and at different times of the year, which means you may find a better deal booking flights for a specific time or month. Keep in mind that there's not just one best day to book cheap flights. It varies depending on your destination, where you're coming from, the flight date of your trip, and your travel needs. But we'll analyze what matters in finding the cheapest flight during the week. How airlines release tickets. Airlines release seats on different days and at different times of the year, which means that you may find a better deal booking flights for a specific time or month. Calendar considerations. Airlines release the cheapest seats first and more expensive ones later, so when you book your flight matters. Business travel dates, such as midweek during a popular holiday period or around major trade shows, will cost more since they're in demand. Other factors affecting flight prices. The day and time you book your flight does influence the price, but there are so many factors that affect price fluctuations. Finding a great deal is generally not a problem, it's more about whether that itinerary fits your travel date and schedule. When you shouldn't book flights. There are certain days of the week when you shouldn't book your flight, especially if you're seeking bargain fares. On Tuesday, fares are the cheapest, but you may also find good prices on Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Saturday. If you're traveling in season. If you're traveling during peak season and have a specific route in mind, that will greatly influence the ideal day to find cheap flights. That's certainly the case for a well-known holiday domestic flight, but it's also true for overseas travel. If you can fly at the last minute. The season and your destination determine reservations and how much lead time you have. But if you can depart within a few weeks of when you intend to go, try for Tuesdays and Wednesdays. When you're traveling during a peak season. In general, booking flights on a particular date works best. However, certain seasons, such as Christmas and summer vacations, have higher airfare costs. If your travel plans are flexible about your flight dates. The best time to make travel arrangements is based on where you'll be going, but if you can be flexible with your departure dates, aim to purchase your tickets on Tuesdays for significant savings. When you're booking a last-minute trip. The cheapest day to book flights will depend on your destination, but you can find cheap prices any time of the week except for Fridays and Sundays. If you're flexible about your destination. The best day to get better deals depends on where you're going, but Tuesday is usually a good day. Airlines release their schedules 11 weeks in advance, which means they may add or delete flights depending on actual demand. If you're flexible about when you fly. Tuesday is the least expensive day to book international flights, and Wednesday afternoon is the optimum departure time. The only exception, if you're traveling from London to New York between December and February, try for a Saturday morning departure. If you can be flexible about what days of the week you fly. The cheapest day to book domestic flights is Tuesday, but if you can be flexible about what days of the week you travel, aim for a Wednesday afternoon departure. What is the cheapest day to book a flight? Keep in mind that there's not just one right day to find the best ticket pricing for flights, as it varies depending on your destination, where you're flying from, and your travel needs. The best days of the week to book flights vary depending on where and when you want to fly. How flight pricing works for international travel. If you want to fly overseas, it can be on Sunday. Tuesday is a good day to sell more seats since, according to the rule of thumb, Tuesdays are typically the best days for flying abroad. The optimum time for traveling internationally might differ significantly from what you're used to. Expert opinion: when's the best day to book international flights? I asked a travel consultant, Dawn Holland, a few questions about flight availability for international travel. Here are some key points. The most important factor in flight pricing is availability. Leisure travelers or travelers returning from conferences and incentive trips frequently return on Sundays as well. Planning early is the key if you're traveling for holidays or spring break. April and May are great times to travel to the Caribbean. Hurricane season is typically June-November. Thailand can also be an economical destination during the low season, May-October, however, the weather may not be ideal. Expert Q&A. What are the most important factors in determining flight prices? The most important factor is the availability of seats on a plane. If we have one flight a day to Costa Rica, that flight will be very expensive, since they're holding the monopoly of the route. Currently, 1/3 of flight operations are in place, so if you want to go anywhere, you're making additional stops or layovers if you aren't in a hub city. You're connecting to a flight with people from all over the country. What makes flight prices cheap? Cheaper flights are available to places with several airlines flying into them. Las Vegas and DFW are good examples of this since several large airlines use these two airports as hubs. Weather is another factor. What are the cheapest cities to fly to around the world? I wish there was an easier answer, as it depends on so many factors. Quick and short getaways within the USA from major cities will be less expensive. What is the best day to buy airline tickets? The best day to book a flight is usually Tuesday, but other factors, such as seasonality, also come into play when deciding what day to purchase your flight tickets. One of the reasons that Tuesday is the cheapest weekday to buy flights is that major airlines release their seats on different days and at different times of the year. This means you may find a better deal booking flights for a specific time or month. Best time of day to book flights. Skyscanner discloses that you can find the best flight deals on Saturday. If you want the cheapest fares, book your trip as soon as possible. The best time of day to book flights is at 3 p.m., according to Skyscanner. When is the best time to buy your plane ticket for holiday travel? If you want to find the absolute best prices, you might want to try booking your holiday travel by the end of October for a cheaper fare. Experts recommend booking Christmas flights 61 to 90 days before the holiday. The airfare will be lower than when you book before or after this prime booking window. Latest tips for finding the best flight deal. Use the right tools. Always compare airfares. Be flexible with dates and times. Travel with friends or family members. What to do if you find a good flight deal. Most of the time, people have already compared prices with a flight search engine, and these deals are so competitive that you won't find a better price anywhere else. While it makes sense to use your credit card points for flight deals, you should also consider how long you intend to keep that card. What you should know before booking flights. Check your travel insurance. Know your rights as a passenger. Know how far in advance you can book a flight. Most times, you can book a flight up to 11 months in advance. However, several factors could ultimately influence this timeline. Remember, advance booking dates can vary based on how you plan to pay and whether you use miles and points to book your tickets. It's best to try to book 28 to 35 days in advance if you don't want to wait 3 months. Do flight prices get cheaper closer to the date? Flight prices can change, depending on the day of the week. Research has found that the best days to buy tickets are Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, Saturdays, and Sundays. Fridays are more expensive because Fridays are popular days to travel.